Today we discuss active investments. Anytime we think about investments, as we discussed in our earlier videos, there are mainly two types of investments that we may make. You're either investing passively or actively. And we discussed that passive investments are the investments where money is generating money for you. You have invested money, you don't need to show up. The passive investments generate income. So today we shall be discussing active investments, where you are actively involved. You have to manage the investments, you have to be engaged. Welcome to today's episode. My name is CPA Anthony Jiru, and today we shall be taking you through the journey of active investments. As usual, I'm your financial coach, the avocado farmer. And today we are privileged to be in the avocado farm. We shall be discussing my journey towards investments before we give you the way or the mode or how to approach active investments. As in our earlier episodes we mentioned, active investments involve active management. They involve you running, like we're running this shamba here that we can see. We have to make sure that the crops are well taken care of, manure is applied, fertilizer is applied at the right time, and so on and so forth. Of course, in my journey towards active investments, I have tried many things. As I told you, I'm an avocado farmer, as you can see. Previously, the first farming that I ever started was in aloe vera farming. So we had this noble idea that we could do aloe vera, being a high demand product in terms of the beauty industry, in terms of the food industry, and we had a good market. We had a good market. A foreigner was willing to uptake our entire aloe vera crop. So we did the farming of aloe vera. We had other farmers. We had even an association of aloe vera farmers. And the government was kind enough to even give us some space, some warehouse in Nairobi near Kirdi, where we would then store our aloe vera, because aloe vera is sold in gel. So once we accumulated the right quantities, we would then transport them to Nairobi, where then we would have once the quantities would be enough, the foreigner would buy them, leave us with the dollars, and take his aloe vera. So we accumulated the aloe vera, and when we had the right quantities for export, that is when we were informed that for you to export aloe vera, you need to have a license from KWS. I don't know why KWS, why not the Kenya Forest Service? But then that became the story of our aloe vera. So because I was the one in Nairobi, I would follow up. I would go to where we had stored our gel, near Kirdi there, where we had go down where we had stored the gel. I would follow up, then I would go to Langata, of course, using taxi, using a lot of money. So then there came a time I realized I was spending so much money chasing money that I would not know whether it would come back. So I started using the public transport. So I would board matatu to Kildi. Then another day I would set another day to go to Langata to follow up the data. Then there came a time when I decided this aloe vera business, now anybody who wants to follow up on aloe vera, I have given up, and I'm just wasting valuable time chasing a product that may never come to be. So I decided, should I ever do farming again, then I should farm something that can be consumed at village level. So the next time that we tried farming, we did 5 acres of watermelon on another farm that is adjacent. On the other side, we did about 5 acres of watermelon. And this time I decided to be a bit more wise in terms of not harvesting the watermelons and taking them to Nairobi, so that then we are not able to dispose them off. So when our melons were ready for to be sold for the market, I was, of course, based in Nairobi. I had to come back to the village, so I came with a buyer. We checked out the melons. We tested one of the melons and realized that these melons were good for consumption. And our buyer then informed us that he would go back to Nairobi, make arrangements for transportation of the watermelons, and then come and pick them on Monday. But of course, for me, I had to remain in the village because the money was coming back to the village. And had I not remained in the village, I may not have believed, because It rained on Friday. That was on a Friday evening around April, I remember that year. It rained on Friday, it rained on Saturday, it rained on Sunday. By the time it was Monday morning, you get to the shamba, you think you're dreaming. Because our melons were already overgrown, so they absorbed a lot of water, they started bursting. So the entire crop, much of the crop was lost. We had to call the fella and tell him whatever remained, we would sell locally within the town. I'm not saying we should not go into active investment, but many of us who are employed, we always imagine that when you go into entrepreneurship, it's easy to make money. So that is a notion that I would want to dispel, and I would want us to pick up some few ideas of how do we get into active investment, how do we get into a venture like what we are doing here in farming avocados and be able to make profitable and sustainable income that can sustain us. So I have tried many ventures. Indeed, at one point, we happened to have invested in a matatu in transport industry, because someone may be saying probably you've just been focusing on agriculture. So at one point we were running a school. I may have mentioned this before. We were running a college known as Royal Business School, and the school is still there for training CPA accountants. And at one point, one of our former students visiting the school came and told us that they were in the process of starting a new matatu business, and they were focusing on a route that would be going to Embakasi, because they felt that the matatus that were then going to that route were boring, they were old, the Embasavas, they felt that they were not gisty enough, they were not connecting with the youth. They were starting a new route, the route now called Royal Swift. He did not tell us to invest, but when he left, we discussed with a colleague and said, why would we be left out in this noble and new venture? So we had not done our research, we had not done any much background. We decided if they're investing, we can also buy one. So we went to Family Bank, they funded us. We raised £1 million for deposit, uh, paid up for the matatu, and the matatu, you buy only the head and the chassis. So the matatu had to get the body built for over 1 month. The body was done. When the body was done, now we were ready to get to the road. So we went to pick our matatu, and we were told that first we need to go to the bank for a letter of authorization. And that tells you that the owner of this matatu is the bank. Secondly, we had to get comprehensive insurance, which then came to 450,000 shillings. We didn't have this money. So the bank, because they want their revenue to start, their investment to start generating income and revenue, so they say they'll give us credit. So on top of the debt that they had given us for buying the matatu of about 3.8 million, they now loaded credit for insurance, which was about 450,000 shillings. Well, now we were required to be paying 48,000 shillings per month for 10 months. That is 480,000 in addition to the repayments for the loan. So then our matatu came on the road. And the first day generated, I think, around 11,000, 13,000 net. You've already paid the drivers, you have paid everything else. So it would average there 10,000, 11,000. This was a 33-seater matatu. And within a couple of weeks, you have made a lot of money. You're even wondering, why have you been toiling so much in the academia, trying to teach very tough courses, CPA, and so on and so forth. But then by the end of 6 months, the fortunes had turned. These people would call you, they would call you when you are busy, they have already known your schedule. When you're in class, they are calling you. You get out of where you're in a meeting, you pick the call, they tell you that now we have the police commandant, what should we do, and so on, and many stories. So the money now started declining. There are days we would get nothing. They started calling up for repairs. From time to time, you hear they have had minor accidents here and here, you have to pay, and so on and so forth. So after about 1.5 years to 2 years, we were now getting back to our pockets to service the loan for this matatu. So we got to a point there now, we started wondering, why should we be in a business where we are the ones who are incurring, we are picking revenue or income from other of our ventures to pay for this matatu. So we took the matatu to the yard, and this matatu was then sold. Those who are now knowledgeable in the business came, bought the matatu for cash, I think around 1.9 million. They removed the TVs that we had put, because nobody wants to go and watch TV in a matatu. Their business is transportation, and they sold these TVs to the people who run small hotels and kiosks. So, and that was the end of our venture. And If you remember, there is a time there was a matatu that was in the news for the wrong reasons. You could Google it, KCC 086U, where a lady was pushed out of a moving matatu, and unfortunately she lost her life. That was our matatu. We had just sold it. So the new owners are the ones who now took on the issues that arose from that. But that is just to show you how precarious active investment can be. You may wake up one day a wealthy man. In the evening, you're told your vehicle has had an accident, and if you're not properly covered with proper insurance and so on, then now you have to sell off your other assets to cater for this. I'm not telling us let us not move to active investment, but there is a method, there is a formula to move into active investments. Remember, as we have mentioned earlier, most of us start generating our income actively, so probably you're actively employed. So the cycle is that you must first invest passively, target a good platform, give yourself a good foundation that can be able to cement you, to ground you, that in the event of any unforeseen issues that you may meet in the market, then you are able to withstand and sustain them. So that is the first step. Then the next thing, when you move to active investment, critical is that you must make sure you do your research. Do your research on the venture that you want to do, so that you know the ins and the outs. You know, if you're into farming, you know all the diseases that may afflict the crop. You know where it is sold, what uses is the product, the end product used for, what is the duration. Do your research, and research entails visiting people who are actually producing what it is that you want to produce. So don't just do theoretical research, because so many books will be written, but when you get to the farm, when you get to the shop, when you get to that factory that you want to run, that is to be running, that is when you get to know what it is. So you cannot just learn from the books so that you go and run your business. You must learn from those who are running these businesses practically on the ground. So you need to do a lot of research. And again, businesses change. So don't go and open a salon, a kinyozi, and then you want to be using the tail, the oxtail, to when the industry has shifted, people now are being given massages in the salon and so on and so forth. So you need to do a lot of research, take your time, engage those who are in the farm, and in your research, don't be in a hurry. Don't just listen to the good stories. Don't seek out this information as someone who intends to invest. At times, you should seek out the information anonymously. Visit the farm if it's a farm. Visit the business when the owner is not expecting you, and be able to see. Then go beyond what people are saying. Because someone will come and tell you, when you do avocados, within 1 year, you'll be generating, I don't know, 1 million shillings per acre. When you do apples, you'll be generating 7 millions an acre. But go beyond what they are saying. Look at their lifestyle. Are they looking like people who are generating those millions? Look at their children. Are they in good schools? Are they able to sustain their school fees and so on? So in your research, be willing to go beyond what people are saying. The next issue that you need to take note of in active investment is scaling. Scaling means that your business has volumes, so that when you're starting, you need to be at an optimal volume, but not so much. So if, for instance, you're going into construction business, don't go and pick up 10 projects at the same time. You could start with one small project. There will be a lot of lessons, there will be a lot of learning from this project. If you're into farming, you don't have to go and do 100 acres in a single go. You can start with 3 acres and then expand to 5, expand to 10. Then at some point you find yourself you're able to do even those hundreds and thousands of acres. If and again, when we're looking at scaling, of course, we must not do so small scale such that it is not economically viable. So if you want to do chicken rearing, and you have 50 or so hens, that is not chicken rearing. That is just maybe some hobby or some food that you are rearing for your consumption. So you need to make sure that you're scaling the levels, the volumes that you're doing are reasonable enough. I also see it in people who are trying to go into rental properties, or houses for sale. Instead of someone doing 1 unit, 3 units and selling them and then moving on, you find someone wants to do 100 units at the same time. So that in their mind, you think you are maximizing on the economies of scale, but at times it will be very expensive for you to run at that scale. So it's very, very important that we look at scaling. How do we size up our business? The third item that we need to look at in active investment is something called mentorship. Mentorship means that
you get someone who is in the industry. So if, for instance, you're into avocado farming, then you need to get someone who is already farming avocado so that they are able to enlighten you. Maybe to add on to that, when we started our avocado venture, the first time we did avocados, about I think 5 or 6 years ago, when they were ready, which was about after 3.5 to 4 years, they were ready now for sale. The first people who came to buy the avocados from us gave us an offer price of 6 shillings per kilo. And we were excited because previously the breed you're seeing here is Ash. Previously we used to do avocados known as Fuete. And Fuete, the breed, that Fuete used to sell to retail for about 2 shillings a kilo. So getting an offer of 6 shillings was exciting. But then we told these fellas, let us take a bit of time. You can call us after a week or so. We were not ready to sell then. So after a week, they started pressuring us, and they would tell us that they have gotten another buyer who is willing to take these avocados at 13 shillings, and we should hurry up before the buyer changes his mind. So because of the pressure, we felt the need to consult and look for other farmers. So we sought out other farmers, and in that season, the avocados were being sold for more than 100 shillings per kilo. So had we rushed to make this sale without proper mentors, we would have lost and probably would have withdrawn from the business, believing that it's not so lucrative or so viable. So it's good that you get a mentor, someone who is willing to work with you into your journey of active investment. So mentorship is the third item that you need to look at. The fourth item that you need to look at in active investment is location. Where are you locating your business? So that if the business does not suit the location, then you may consider either moving or seeking out an alternative venture. So your business must align to the location. Your business must align to the location. The fifth item that you need to look at, besides what we have mentioned in terms of research, mentorship, scaling, and location, is of course the time frame. How long does it take for your business to be able to generate cash flows, and what are the cash flows in this business as well as the margins. So you need to be aware of the difference between cash flows and margins, and both are important, but liquidity is more key. They say profitability is key, but liquidity is key. So you need to be aware, for how long do I need to wait before I start generating cash, and am I able to wait out? Am I able to wait out? So the timing is very, very important for your business, so that you know how long do you wait. The sixth item is on market. Where is your market? So that by the time you're planting, by the time you're starting that business, you have identified who is your market and how, and are there any legal challenges or procedures, compliance issues that you may face. Like when we were doing our aloe vera, we should have, by the time we started planting, we should have known where do we sell and what are the required letters before we can be able to sell our aloe vera. The last point that I would want to emphasize today, of course, we shall be revisiting this topic from time to time and enhancing it. The last point I would want us to focus on is how do you finance your venture, and what is the nature of capital requirement. Because some ventures are capital intensive, others require much land, others require more space, others require more machinery. So how do you finance your business? And with regard to this, you need to take note of the role of debt in project financing and in business, active business financing, so that you're cautious not to be over-levered to the extent that you cannot sustain. Of course, in our next video, we shall be discussing debt management and personal debt management to civic, so that we understand what is healthy debt and how can we utilize debt in our ventures to make sure that we have proper active investment. Active investments indeed generate good income. When you move into entrepreneurship and into business, you can truly become wealthy, but very many people have become poor trying. So you need to be cautious. You need to avoid get-rich-quick schemes and differentiate the get-rich-quick schemes from active investments. Active investments is methodical, is procedural. If you do it right, we can grow our nation by increasing productivity, either in production, agribusiness, like what we are doing, or in manufacturing, or in retail business, or even in the service industry. The approach is the same. As usual, this is your financial coach, CPA Anthony Njiru. Kindly like our videos, follow us on various platforms and share with your friends so that they can view. Thank you very much.